Hello crafters, I've decided to also make a video on how I make in general my boxes, but this is actually the box we're going to create for the Sympathy card we've just made. What I normally do, I take the card and I measure it length and width at the largest point. Our card measures from the largest point, which is here, because this oval is a little bit on the outside of the card, so that would be 7 1/4, and the length is 8 1/4. And when I measure the height, so I want to see how much it sticks up, it's almost 3/4 of an inch. So what I normally do, I take the ruler and just put it down and see where it hits. So this one actually hits at like 5/8, but just to give it a little bit of wiggle room, I'm gonna say 3/4. So 3/4 inches height and 7 1/4 by 8 1/4. Still, I don't want my box to be very tight, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1/4 of an inch to our measurements. So our original card measures 7 1/4 by 8 1/4 with a height of 3/4 of an inch. Alright, now, like I said, I'm going to add 1/4 of an inch to our card dimensions. So this will become 7 1/2 by 8 1/2. And let's not, of course, forget about our height, which is 3/4 of an inch. So, in order to better explain, let's imagine that this is our card, or actually our box we're going to create. So this would be 7 1/2, and this is 8 1/2. But we also have this 3/4 of an inch height. So now for each one of these sides we have to add 3/4 of an inch. So this is 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, and 3/4. So in the end, we are going to have 7 1/2, right? This plus twice 3 1/4. Same goes over here. We are going to have 8 1/2 and then twice 3/4 of an inch. Right, I'm not really good with this wonderful tool. I'm not sure if it's available for other type of iOS devices, but at least it's available for the iPhone. It's called Carpenter Lite calculator. Let's see again. Carpenter's helper calculator, and this will measure for me exactly as I need in inches. So I have 3/4 of an inch, so 3/4 of an inch. Now you know what, let's do it from scratch. So we have 7 1/2, so we got 7 inches and a half plus 3/4 of an inch. Now you know what, I did it wrong. 7 inch, and that's why I need to calculate, and a half plus 3/4 of an inch plus 3/4 of an inch equals 9 inches exactly. I'm gonna write it down so you don't forget it. Next one, it's 8 1/2 inches, so we have 8 inches and a half plus 3/4 of an inch plus 3/4 of an inch equals 10 inches. So our final piece of paper is going to be 9 by 10 inches, just right here. That takes into consideration the height of the card as well. For my card, I decided to make the base in black. I'm going to use black for the base, and then the top is going to be in red. And in order to do my boxes, I use by the Crafter's Companion. It's called the Boxer. You buy this separately. This is the base. It's called the Boxer, and you buy this separately. It's probably like, when I bought it was like $11, so maybe now it's like $14-15. On one side it has the measurement in inches, and on the other side it has the measurement in centimeters. On one side it has, not sure if it's visible, it says box base, and then here it says box lid. So these are the guides we are going to use for our card. Now this fits with this set, which honestly I got so excited when I bought it, but I think I only used it once. This I think it's called the Ultimate Crafter or something like that. Like I said, I barely used it. But this piece that you buy separately, and this is like $50 some dollars, this piece that you buy separately, it fits well on here. So then you're gonna use it while sitting here, but you don't need to have this in order to use the boxer. You can put it down, and when you need to do your score lines for your box, you have to make sure that your piece of paper is butted exactly against the end of your board, and everything will be fine. So let's start creating our card. Let's put this on the side for the time being. So what we need now is two pieces of paper measuring 9 inches by 10. So let's do a little bit of recap first. So our original card is 7 1/4 by 8 1/4 with 3/4 of an inch height. But like I said, I want to give a little bit of wiggle room for the card inside the box. I don't want you to sit tight and, you know, maybe even for the receiver to have difficulty lifting it up. So then I'm adding a 1/4 of an inch. So therefore at this point I'm going to have 7 1/2 by 8 1/2, and let's not forget our 3/4 of an inch height. So let's imagine that this is our base, which measures 7 1/2 by 8 1/2, and to each of these 4 sides we have to add the 3/4 of an inch, which is actually the height of your card. 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. So at this point the final piece of paper that you need to cut in order to create your box is going to be 7 1/2 plus 3/4 of an inch and plus 3/4 of an inch, which gives us 9 inches, and then 8 1/2 plus 3/4 of an inch plus 3/4 of an inch, which gives you 10 inches. So we have to cut 2 pieces now. In my case it's gonna be one red, one black, because I want to make my box red and black. One is gonna be they're both going to be 9 inches by 10. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my papers offline, and then I'll come back so we can build the box together. I've got my 2 pieces of paper at 9 inches by 10. I'm going to start working on the base. As I said, I want to make the base in black, so I'm going to put the red piece on the side. And now I'm going to look on my boxer plate to see which part says box base. So the box base is here on this side, and we are going to work on the inches part. So I'm going to put my plate back into its base, and like I said, you can use this separately. You don't need to buy the entire thing, and when you work with it, if you work with it separately, just make sure that your piece of paper is at the end of the plate, and it will be just fine. Because I have this, it's a lot easier, of course, because now the paper stops exactly at the base, so I don't have to care about whether or not it's going to move. So I'm looking again, this is the box base, and I need to score a 3/4 of an inch. Remember, we left for height of the card, 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to look where with my 3/4 of an inch is. This is actually an 1/8 of an inch up to 1 inch, 2 inch, and etc. So my 3/4 of an inch will be here. So I'm going to score on all 4 sides a 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and if we are to put the card between our score lines, we will see that it has a very nice sitting place with a little bit of wiggle room. Not sure how visible this is on the, but this will tell us that we did a good job at measuring the box. So next step is to snip in these corners up to the intersection line. So I'm going to cut here all the way up to the intersection line, go to the next one, and let's cut up to the intersection line of the score lines, and I'm going to continue doing this on all four corners and here. Now I'm going to reinforce the score lines prior to gluing it. And then at these ends, the ones that I cut off, I'm going to add some double-sided tape, and right before gluing, depending on how it looks, if it looks too wobbly, maybe I'm going to use some wet glue as well. So I'm going to use tape just to glue on, and I have a little bit more room, so at this point I can easily use an 1/8 of an inch tape as well. I'm gonna do this on all four sides. Be careful not to put tape on the score line, so tape to be applied before the score line on that tiny little piece that you just cut out. Don't worry if you get any glue hanging, because you're gonna bury it inside once you're ready to cut. Once I apply the score tape, my next step, I'll show you right now, before I even remove the score tape. You notice if we are to leave these pieces the way they are and glue them down, you're gonna get that piece of the silver here where it goes over. So what I normally like to do is take my scissors and on both sides cut a little bit. It will create almost like a triangle because I'm gonna cut in an angle, but for the piece to actually end at the real height of the box. And same on both sides of the flaps. Okay, this goes in the garbage. And I forgot an important element that I use with my boxes together. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Let's see if I can find it quickly. My pegs. This helps to keep the piece in place while it's drying. I have 4 pegs here. You can also use paper clips Sometimes I use a combination of both, but my paper clips seem to have disappeared. I used to have 4 paper clips in here, now I only have 2. That's alright. Right now I'm just going to use my pegs. Pen this down. Let's remove the tape. As usually the tape has a mind of its own. And where's my glue? Who took my glue? I want my glue. Oh, this is such a mess. Can anybody see my glue, please? Unless it fell. That could be a possibility too. So at this point I'm gonna use the glossy accents because I really don't want to waste my glue bottle. Nope, it's not on the floor either. I guess it grew legs and ran away from me. It's alright. I like the glue was drying fast. Okay, a little bit of wet glue and bring the pieces together. Glue it together and then use the pegs to keep it there until it dries off. No, seriously, where's my glue bottle? I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy. Somebody doesn't want me to finish this. Wonderful. You guys might think I'm crazy here, but I'm telling you, come find my glue. So annoying. So we're gonna do the same on all 4 pieces. The glue there. Okay. Working with tiny pieces is not easy. Okay. Putting wet glue again. More resistance and stability. Putting this on. Yes, my daughter is having a lot of fun upstairs. So now our box base is created. The glue is dry and this is how it looks like. So next thing we have to do is to create a box lid. So again, using our boxer plate, we see that here it says box lid, and if you see these measurements down here, that's actually for the box base. So you go on the side where it says box lid, however you'll have to start with the measurements where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. that start on the side of the box lid, and this will be your measurements to follow. So I'm going to put my plate back into its base. I'm gonna take by 9 by 10 piece of red cardstock. I'm gonna butt this against the edge, and now I'm gonna score again a 3 1/4. However, I make sure that I'm on the box lid side. Here it says box lid, but the measurements actually starts at the other end, where it starts with 1. So I'm going to score 3/4 of an inch. Let me show you. I'm scoring in the right place. Yep, this is 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. What I like to do next, normally with my regular cards, I like to embellish the box lid. However, in this case, because this is a sympathy card, I will keep my embellishment down a notch, because normally I like to put flowers and bows and ribbon on the box lid. At this point, what I'm going to do, I just want to use another piece of paper that I'm going to glue on top with an aperture, and which I'm going to emboss. So in order to find out the measurements of the piece of paper I'm going to glue on top of the lid, I'm going to measure in between these score lines to see the measurements, and then I'll cut my piece of paper 1/8 less than the measurement I get. So first measurement is in between the two score lines, is 7 and 1 2 3/8. I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget. So it's 7 and 3/8 by 8 and 1 2 3/8. 8 and 3/8. So I'm going to cut my another piece of red cardstock 1/8 less than the measurements I have already got. So it's going to be 7 1/4, because one side was 7 and 3/8 minus 1/8. It's 7 1/4, and the other one is going to be 8 1/4. So let's cut our piece. To 8 1/4. So we got 8 1/4 by 7 1/4. And this piece is going to fit nicely here between the score lines. Before I emboss, what I would like to do is to create an aperture. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go and get the die I want to use for the aperture. I forgot to have it handy. First and foremost, I want to temporarily glue this in place. So when I cut the aperture, I cut it in the same time. So I'm going to use removable tape, just a little bit, to keep it in place. And now, my dogs are getting excited about something that sometimes I wish people didn't pass by our house. And then I'm going to choose a die for my aperture. So at this point, I think I'm going to use this die. This is from It's the Grand Scalloped Ovals, and the Spellbinders item number is LF111. So this is the die I'm going to use for my aperture. I think it's going to look nice. I don't know if maybe I should make it in the middle so we can see with Sympathy over there, or I could use it like this to show more of the card. So I think I'm going to use it like this. So once again, our piece of cardstock that I'm going to emboss and glue it on top, it's already temporarily glued to my box lid. I'm eyeballing where this would fall. I can see that in my design the angel is more towards the top than the bottom. So I'm going to place my die in place, and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to emboss the part that I want to emboss, and I'll be right back to finish the box. Okay, so I'm back. This is the piece of cardstock that I embossed, and this is going to sit like this on top of the lid. And while I was offline, I also prepared a small piece of acetate that is going to sit like this in between the lid and the piece of embossed cardstock that I'm going to put on top. So let's quickly glue this together. Okay, at this point, in order to ensure that the acetate will glue properly to our piece of cardstock I'm going to put on top, I'm going to apply again 1/8 of an inch tape on this side of the acetate. Okay, let me smooth the Don't you just love it when tape has a mind of its own? I don't. Put this on the side. Let's remove the double-sided, the backing of the double-sided tape. Make sure that if there is any tape hangover to be folded in. Remember going over with some tape by my aperture, which is right here. Something is hanging here too. So that's folded in now and will no longer be visible on the other side. So now let's glue this on top. And we will be almost done with our box lid. Okay. I'm gonna turn this over in order to press down, not too hard, not too much pressure, so you don't affect the embossing. Just make it flat. And this will be our box lid. So next step will be to cut the flaps where the scroll lines meet, just like we did with the box lid. With the box base. And I'll be right back after I did that, so we can see the fully finished box. And of course, when you're done, clean up the aperture because there'll be fingerprints on your phone working. So now I finished the box lid as well. So as you can see, this is our card inside of the box, and with a nice embossed top. So this will be nice and snug, which I'll love. This is the card inside our box. Thank you so much for watching and for your patience, and appreciate your support. Have a great day. Bye bye.